G'day! So I did it last night. I launched Sarah Says, and I really firstly just want to take a second to thank each and every one of you who have made comments, sent me messages, followed the page. I'm super appreciative of all the love. It's made my heart really happy, and this decision just feels like the right one. I don't know, I feel like I might have actually figured it out, but anyway, time will tell. So I took a bit of opportunity today to kind of look at all of the ideas I'd written down over the last few months about all the content creations and things that I kind of wanted to talk about. I have 73 different topics to date, and so choosing where to start is a particularly challenging one. So I'm just going to go with the flow, man, and see what I'm feeling and whatever else. But one of the things that I've done recently, which I referenced in the very first post I did yesterday, was this happiness planner, and I've spoken to a couple of people about it because I just kind of banged it out one night last week, and I've been writing some pretty crazy highs and lows of recent times, and I found myself in a bit of a rut. You know, I'm surrounded by a lot of love. I'm particularly fortunate. I consider myself to be really blessed in life with great people, and I have an abundance of work and really great opportunities in front of me. But it just kind of sometimes doesn't necessarily fill you up enough, or doesn't drag you out of the shit, right? So what I did is I thought I'd take a bit of stock to try and articulate or understand some of the thought processes I'd been having, and really take some time to understand what makes me happy, what makes me tick, what are my anxiety triggers, so what do they look like, and how the fuck do I stay away from them, and what type of things do I want to do in my life every week that will start adding to making me better. And so I jumped on Canva. God, I love Canva. It's so easy and so awesome. And I found a design that I liked, and I just kind of tinkered with it a little bit, and I concocted this happiness plan. And so I'm going to share it with you now. This is kind of what it looks like. Oh, it's a bit windy out here. Hang on a second. This is Sazy trying to navigate technology for the first time. Can you see that? So this is my happiness plan, and what it's got on it is things like my bucket fillers. So the things that kind of fill my bucket and make me happy, or at least make me feel a little bit content. It has my weekly goals on it. So things that I actually want to achieve each week, and things that I've kind of identified as opportunities for me to live a better version of myself. It has my anxiety triggers on it. So I've really spent a lot of time over the last probably 6 or so months trying to figure it out, and figure out what those things are that kind of push me over the edge, or make me a bit cranky at my family, or just kind of really drive me a bit batty. And then what are the actual actions? So I'm a doer, man. Like, I am a dead set doer. I like taking action. I'm a particularly solution oriented individual, and as a consequence of that, I kind of don't see the point of just talking about stuff and putting all these ideas down on paper unless you're actually going to do something about it. So some of the things that I have on my list, that fill my bucket, and they're little things, right? Like, I really enjoy having a tidy house and things in order. I like learning new things. I really love helping people, as I mentioned yesterday. I like being an influential mother and wife. That really makes me happy. When my kids come home, with a problem, I've got a daughter who's kind of navigating her first year of high school and has had some, bitchy standard drama going on, but I really love helping her navigate through some of that stuff. I love making kids feel really good about themselves, and I love making kids feel heard. That's a really important thing for me, listening to the words that come out of their mouth, and adults for that matter. I love spending time with my friends. I really love listening to music, particularly live music, but man, I crank music all the time through the speakers in our house, and I just absolutely love it. What are my anxiety triggers? Not having a plan freaks the living shit out of me. Really sets me off if I don't have a plan. Not knowing where money will come from, and that stems a lot from my childhood and going through a fair bit of stuff and not really having money and being particularly poor and financially challenged as a family because of an accident that happened to my dad. And I always want to know where the money's coming from and when the next round of money's coming in. That really drives me to a huge amount of anxiety and, to be honest, depression if I can't kind of take stock and know that. And I think that's where my worker bee has come from, the worker bee in me, which has been quite detrimental to my health, but it always has stemmed from this incessant need to have money sitting there as a safety net. Having too much stuff around, so I've been doing a lot of work on minimalism and just kind of cleansing and doing stuff to really strip some things out, but having too much stuff really kind of overwhelms the living crap out of me. Not being able to disconnect, so being highly empathetic means I take on a lot of people's stuff all of the time, and sometimes that really gets to me. When I work in businesses, one of my biggest challenges is I take a lot of their problems personally, and I often get myself in a bit of a situation where if I can't find a solution to a problem, it really winds me up and I lose sleep over it. If I can see that a business has an opportunity and they're not doing anything about it, those type of things have taken a lot of practice from me to really try and master, because it does tip off my anxiety. And the final thing that really pushes me over the edge is if I do too much, particularly if I do too much without rest, because I'm a bit of a goer. If I do things and don't rest, it is particularly taxing on my body and doesn't tend to go well. So there's a few things that I've wanted to do. So weekly goals for me, I really want to exercise every day. So I'm not a big exerciser. I find the whole thing quite boring, to be honest, but there's a lot to be said about being healthy. There's a lot to be said about being strong. So I've got a really weak core, and so I want to get my core strength up, and so yoga is on there, and a bit of Pilates, so I'm going to start doing that. I want to work towards finishing our house. So we've been working on this project for a really long time, and the yard is an absolute disgrace, and we're having Christmas here this year, and I'll probably do a video on that because we're doing something quite cool. But like working on the house and just chipping away to make me feel like I'm accomplishing something is going to be really high on my priority list. And then I've written a whole heap of actions. So if I've got all these goals, what type of things am I going to do? So I'm actually going to take the dog for a walk because I feel really bad. We lost his brother this year, and he's kind of on his own, and I take on a lot of pressure. I feel like he's really lonely and he doesn't get enough love because we're all really busy and stuff. And so I'm going to take the dog on a walk every day. I'm going to just, wake up and set a routine to spend the first part of the morning just tidying and just putting some things away. I'm going to reinstate my barefoot bucket. So for those of you that know the Barefoot Investor, I've been doing the Barefoot Investor, and when that's under control, I absolutely love it, but I've kind of lost my way a little bit with it. So I'm going to reinstate those. And I'm going to try to disconnect from people's problems every night by meditating. So I'm going to try and do a bit of a physical disconnection where I just kind of wipe everybody's stuff away. So that's the things that I'm going to help. But anyway, so that's just to give you a little bit of insight into the happiness plan. But what I'm actually going to do is I've turned this happiness plan into a shareable document. So I'm going to try, I don't know how, but I'm going to try to figure out how to kind of get a PDF out. I can only get it as a JPEG or a PDF or something like that, so I'm not entirely sure, but I'll try and share this, and then you can download it and you can print it and you can fill it out for yourself. Or if you'd like an editable version, then just make a comment or flick me a message or something with your email address, and I'll see if I can share it in Canva, because it'd be really cool if you guys could use this happiness plan, to start kind of even just identifying the things that fill your bucket and the anxiety triggers that you might have, because I think personally and professionally it doesn't really matter. We're consumed with everything, both personally and professionally, most of us, and I think it's really important that we kind of take stock and identify those things in our lives. that we can try to get better at, and then set actionable tasks to try and make life better. Right, so really quite cool for kids too, right? So this can be used with your kids, really could open up an opportunity for them to pay attention to the things that fill their buckets as well. So this isn't exclusively for adults by any stretch, but anyway, I've done it, and in the interest of sharing, if it helps one of you or somebody, then fucking happy days, I've done my job. Mission accomplished on the first day, and we'll go from there. Gotcha.